What's up, Rick Youth? Hey, it's good to be in here today. Man, as I said earlier, my name is Preston. If you haven't had the chance to meet, I get the privilege of being the student pastor here at Rick Youth. And here at Rick Youth, we have a word for the year. Does anyone know what the word for the year is? Okay, does anyone know? Peyton's got it. What does it mean? She said to care more about what God thinks than about what anyone else thinks. So we give her a round of applause. Yeah, so we have this word undignified, and this has been the lens that we're looking at everything through, because we want to care more about what God thinks than about what anyone else thinks. We want to get more undignified as a student ministry, but on top of our word for the year, we also have a verse for the year that we read together every single week. And so we're going to throw it up on the screen. You can throw the screen up, throw it up the screen for me. It's Matthew 22, 37 through 39. We're going to read it together in 3, 2, 1. Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind." This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. Rick Youth, y'all killed that. Can you give yourself a round of applause? Hey, man, I'm excited for today for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons I'm excited today is actually I'm not the one preaching today. I love preaching, but I'm actually not the one preaching today. Today, I'm really, really excited about the word and who's preaching. Our Next Steps pastor, Jake Bowlin, is bringing the word today. And just to tell you real quick, man, Jake loves y'all so much. He's served y'all so well being your Next Steps pastor. He's walked a lot of y'all through your next steps after you started following Jesus. And today, he has a word for you that I believe is from God. Like, I believe it will do something in your heart if you will decide that you will lock in today. So today, we're going to lock in. We're going to take notes. We're going to give talk back whenever we see fit. And we're going to listen to Jake Bowlin as he gives us a word for the day. Can y'all give a Rick Youth welcome to the stage, Pastor Jake Bowlin. Come on, everyone.
What's up, Rick Youth? And I am so excited to be up here. And just like Preston said, if we haven't had the opportunity to meet, my name is Jake, and I get the privilege of being the Next Steps pastor here at Brick Youth. And just like Preston said, we have a word for the year, and that word is undignified. And I just want to reiterate what the meaning for that word is for the year is it's caring more about what God thinks than about what anyone else thinks. And so I've got a question for you as we dive into tonight's message, which we are on week 2 of What If. And in this message, in this collection of sermons, we have been covering all of the what ifs behind living an undignified life. Like all the different things that it could entail, all the questions that we could have. And so my question for you tonight is, have you ever been wrong about something? Okay, we've got 9 honest people in the room tonight. It's fine. It's all right. Everybody else lied because y'all know you've been wrong about something in your life. And maybe for you, it was like an answer on a test. Like maybe you knew that you were wrong, but you made the answer anyways. Maybe for you, it was a relationship where you were like, oh, she's the one or he's the one. And then you find out 2 weeks later, you're in 8th grade and it's not true and you were actually wrong. Like maybe for you, you had thought you picked up your dirty clothes, and then your mama comes strolling down the hall, she sees your room, and your clothes are still there. And you're like, I could have swore I picked these clothes up, but you were wrong. Or maybe it was something silly, like getting a shot at the doctor. You're like, this is gonna hurt, and then you realize that it actually didn't. And that's the question that I have. Does anyone like getting shots at the doctor? Oh man, if you raised your hand, you are wild. Like if you are sitting next to someone who raised their hand, you should probably reconsider who you're sitting next to next week. But a couple of weeks ago, I actually had to go to the doctor. And I met with the doctor, and this is something that's kind of been ongoing for a while for me. And the doctor was like, hey, we really need you to come in once a week and get a shot. And I looked at the doctor and I was like, you want me to come in once a week and eat dots? Because I'll eat the candy all day, bro. Like I'm there. And she was like, no, we need you to come in once a week and get a shot. And bro, I was so scared in this moment because I was like, this is going to hurt. This is going to be awful. Like, what if I cry? Like, I'm 32 years old. What if I cry in front of this doctor? And I was like, you know what? This is going to better my health, so I'm going to do it. And so I decided that I'm going to go and I'm going to get these shots. And so I'm hyping myself up, right? Like I've got all these internal questions of like, what if this hurts? And what if I cry? And what if I make a fool out of myself? But then I also had the other questions of like, what if it doesn't hurt as bad as I think it does? Or what if I'm just being dramatic, which is a huge possibility. And so I go to the doctor's appointment, I get checked in. And I'm sitting in the lobby and the doctor comes out and she goes, Jacob? And I'm like looking around like, are you Jacob? Are you? No, I'm the only Jacob. I was like, all right, I guess it's my turn. So I go into the doctor's office. She's like, all right, we're going to give you this shot. And I'm like, okay, fantastic. She's like, I'm going to count to 3, and then I'm going to give you the shot. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And then I was like, whoa, ow. And she was like, sir, that was just the alcohol pad. And I was like, well, you need to invest in some softer alcohol pads. I don't know what to tell you. But she was like, all right, here we go. We're going to go on 3. And I was like, okay, sounds great. And again, like I'm psyching myself up. I'm revving up. I'm ready for this to hurt so bad. And so she goes 1, 2. And then what I thought I did internally actually came out on the outside. So she goes 1, 2. And my response was, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. And she was like, are you okay? And I was like, I think I'm okay. I really love McDonald's, obviously. Like that's a truth that I have in my life. She was like, are you good? And I was like, are you done? And she was like, yeah, I'm done. The Band-Aid's on. She was like, did that hurt? And I was like, no. I was like, I was wrong about this whole entire experience. I was working myself up so bad and so much that I had literally stressed for weeks and weeks and weeks about this experience. And I believe that life is full of what if moments and questions. I believe that life is full of these moments where we're asking ourselves, what if, like what college do I go to? Or what sport should I pursue in high school or middle school or even after I graduate? Or like what friendships should I make? And maybe what friendships should I not keep? Life is full of what if questions, especially when it comes to living a life undignified for Christ. And the what if that I want to cover with you this evening, Brick Youth, is what if I'm wrong? Like what if I make the decision to follow Jesus? Or what if I do something that he's asking me to do? Or what if I take him up on his word and I'm wrong? Like what if I miss something? What if I misstep? And in order to understand the what if I'm wrong question, we actually have to ask this question first. What is he asking of us? Like in order to understand the question of God, how could I be wrong? We have to be willing to ask ourselves what he's asking us to do in the first place. Is it spending more time with him? You're like, I don't really know if I need to do that. Like we're good, God. Like I see you on Wednesdays. Like I hear about you on Sundays. Like we're good. And we're asking ourselves these questions. Like what if he's asking you to actually engage in tribes? Like what if he's actually asking you to get bought in to community that he has placed here for you? And you're like, I don't know, God. Like, what if they make fun of me? Or what if they laugh at me? Or what if I talk and I don't get the response that I want? What if he's asking you to take a break from social media? And you're like, oh, God, people got to see my life. Like, they got to see all the things. I got to see all the things. I can't give up social media. Or maybe what if he's asking you to listen to your parents? Whew, shocker. That's a big one, right? Like, what if he's asking you to do these things? And in response, we're asking the question, well, like, what if I'm wrong? Like, what if I'm not hearing you properly? Or what if you're not actually talking to me? Or what if I miss the mark? And what happens is we have these moments in our lives where we are walking through life, pursuing God, processing what it means to follow God, doing all these things. And we get up to these what if moments, and it's actually caution tape. And so what we've done is we have stopped ourselves in our walk with Christ. If I could say it like this, I would say we go from pursuing with passion to pursuing with caution. Like, God, I don't know what you're asking me to do, and I don't really even know if you're asking me to do it. Maybe I misheard, maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. God, I'm really not ready to let go of the friendships. God, I'm really not ready to let go of the social media. God, I'm really not ready to let go of the things. And we put caution tape in a place that's not supposed to be a stopping point, but a launching pad into our next season. Like we put caution tape over something that God is saying, if you will just trust me, what I'm going to give you, just like Preston talked about 2 weeks ago, is so much greater than what you will ever give up. And we put caution tape in these moments. If I could say it, I would say it like this. Living undignified means you trust the plan God has over the doubts you have. And that is not an easy place to get to. It's not an easy place to get to a point where you're trusting everything that God has for you, and you're walking up to these caution tape moments and you're saying, but God, what if? Like, what if I'm unsure of what happens on the other side of this? What if I'm unsure of how this plays out? And so my question for you tonight, Brick Youth, would be, what is your caution tape? Like, if we were to be able to sit down and have a one-on-one conversation, and I was able to ask you about life and how things are going, and I was able to ask you about like what is God doing in your life? How are you feeling? What are you doing? And you were able to be like, I'm kind of just at a caution tape moment. Well, what is your caution tape? Is it doubt or fear? Like, is it a disbelief in yourself? Is it a disbelief that God could ever use somebody like you? Or is it maybe people's opinions? You're like, man, if I start the club, if I do the thing, God, if I follow your voice, what are they going to say or think about me? These are all things that can be our caution tape. For some of us, it's fear of the unknown. Like, God, I have no idea what's on the other side of this tape. All I know is what you've asked me to do. I don't have any other information than what's on the other side of this tape. And I don't know if I can trust enough to get through this. My goal for tonight is that what if I'm wrong isn't a stopping point, but it's a launching pad. That we would be able to internally process the thing that God is asking us, calling us to do, and we be able to say, you know what? This is not going to be a stopping point in my walk. It's actually just going to be a launching pad. That I'm going to use this to get to the next area of life. And there's a beautiful story in Scripture. And it's the story of the woman with the issue of blood. Now, if you ever read this story, Scripture actually doesn't give her a name. And I don't know about y'all, but if I'm alive in Bible times, like if I'm walking the earth as Jesus is walking the earth, and I make the Bible, I want a name. Like, I don't even care if it's my name. You can call me Billy Joe, you can call me Bob, you can call me Randy. I don't really care. I just want a name. And what we see in this woman's story is that she has got this moment where she's asking all of these what if questions. She's got all this data to suggest that she will never ever get better. And so we're going to read her story in Luke 8:43 through 48. It goes like this. And a woman who had suffered from a hemorrhage for 12 years and had spent all her money on physicians and could not be healed by anyone, came up behind him and touched the fringe of his outer robe. And immediately her bleeding stopped. Jesus said, "Who touched me?" While they were all denying it, Peter and those who were with him said, "Master, the people are crowding and pushing against you." But Jesus said, "Someone did touch me, because I was aware that power to heal had gone out of me." When the woman saw that she had not escaped notice, she came up trembling and fell down before him. She declared in the presence of all the people the reason why she had touched him and how she had been immediately healed. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith, your personal trust, and confidence in me has made you well. Go in peace, untroubled, undisturbed well-being." I believe that this woman in this story was at a caution tape moment. She's at a moment where she's asking all of these what-if questions. She's at a moment where she doesn't really know what to do next. She just knows that she's in the presence of Jesus. Has anybody in here seen the movie Shrek? I'm not talking about Shrek 2, Shrek 2.5, 3, 4, 5, any of them. I'm talking about the OG Shrek, in my opinion. And again, don't cite me on this because I really don't watch that many movies, but it's probably in my top 5 movies of all time. I love the humor in that movie. I love the actors. I love all of the things. And there's a part in the movie where Shrek is actually trying to describe to Donkey why he is the way he is. Why he does the things he does, why he acts the way he acts, why he makes the decisions that he makes. And he actually tells Donkey that he is like an onion. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know if I want to describe myself as an onion. They taste good, but they don't smell good. I don't want anybody to tell me, bro, you look like an onion. Thanks. I don't know. I really don't know how to really process this. But he's telling them this because ogres have layers. And to understand an ogre, you actually have to be willing to peel back the layers. And I believe to understand the question of what if I'm wrong, you have to be willing to peel that back. Because doubt is presented in layers all the time. And I believe that this woman's story actually had layers. She was probably asking the question, what if it doesn't work? It says she had spent all of her money. For 12 years, she tried to get better. For 12 years, she tried to get answers. For 12 years, she tried everything she could. And how often do situations in our lives present themselves and the last thing we do is go to God? Like, how often do things and circumstances, how often do moments in our lives present themselves? How often do we walk up to this caution tape and instead of going to God, we're like, I'm just going to go around it. Like, I'll just go around the caution tape. Like, God, I'm good. I'm not willing to give up the friends. I'm not willing to give up the decisions. I'm not willing to give up the things. So I'm just going to walk around it. And I'm hoping that this detour that I go on will still lead me down the path that you have for me. And we don't want to recognize that we need him. We'd rather walk around the caution tape. And maybe for this woman, at some point she received temporary healing. Like maybe for a day or for a moment she thought she was good, but it never lasted. It never took hold. She received temporary healing, but never lasting healing. Why? Because she wasn't willing to break the caution tape. She wasn't willing to acknowledge the fact that she needed something greater than what she was chasing after. She wasn't willing to acknowledge the fact that she needed something better than what was presented in front of her for 12 years. She probably had the thought of like, what if something goes wrong? Or I'm sorry, what if I miss the moment? She's in the crowd expecting Jesus. And the wild thing about this is that she's not even supposed to be in this place. Like it says that people with this issue would have been ostracized. They would have been cast out. They would have been told not to come anywhere near others in fear that the unclean would make clean people unclean. So she's not even supposed to be in this moment, yet she's here and she's hearing stories and she's seeing miracles and she's believing that she could live undignified. And how often do we dismiss the presence of God in the problems we face? Like how often do we dismiss his presence in the problems? Like, God, there's no way you could be in this moment with me when I'm having these issues. There's no way you could be in this moment when I'm at the caution tape. There's no way you could be with me. And what this woman had to do is realize that she is in the presence of the one who actually has the ability to change her situation. And Brick, you tonight, you're in the presence of the one who actually has the ability to help you break the caution tape. Like he has all ability. He has all power on heaven and on earth to help you get through whatever the doubt and the fear is that he's asking you to do. And then she probably asked the question like, what if something goes wrong? She takes a step towards Jesus. She says, you know what? I'm just going to try. And she realizes though that she's unclean. Could you imagine being in the crowd? Like, could you imagine being a bystander who knows this lady, who knows what she's going through, and now she's approaching you? Like, I'm a parent, and if one of my kids are coming towards me and they're throwing up, I love my children, but I'm probably like, hold on. Wait a second. Hold on, I don't want you to throw up on me. So I'm sure that the crowd had a reaction to her being there, and she's asking her the question like, what if something goes wrong? Like, what happens if she touches Jesus and nothing changes? Like, what happens to all the other people in the crowd as she's bumping shoulders and she's hitting elbows and she's crawling over feet and the people are realizing who she is? She doesn't care about any of that. Why? Because living undignified doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. Like living undignified, choosing that you're going to break the caution tape, choosing that you're going to not stay where you are but go where God is calling you, it doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone in your proximity. Because they realize something is different. I think the last what if that she probably asked is, what if something actually changes? Like, what if she decides, and what if you decide tonight, like, God, I'm going to do what you're asking me to do. I'm going to give up the relationships. I'm going to adjust the friendships. I'm going to pray for my friends and pray for my family. Like, you're going to decide that the thing that God has put on your heart, he's put in your soul, is you're actually going to do it. You're going to break the caution tape. This woman decides, like, I'm going to get up and touch his garment. That's all it takes. I'm just going to get up and touch his garment. She made the decision that she was no longer going to be known by the doubt she had, but by the faith she produced. Like we don't know this woman's story if she never touches Jesus' garment. We don't know her story if she never makes the decision that she's not going to let the caution tape stop her anymore, but she's actually going to do what she knows will help her, and she's going to touch his garment. She's peeling back the layers of what if in real time. She chose to get answers. She chose to acknowledge his presence. She chose to take a step, and she chose to break the caution tape. And she had so much data that this may not work. She spent 12 years in everything that she owned trying to get this problem fixed? What's another man? What's another person? What's another moment? What's another dollar? What's another hem of a garment? And my question would be, what area of life do you find yourself trusting what's already happened over what could happen? Like maybe you've made decisions to push through. Maybe you've made decisions to break the tape. Maybe you haven't made the decision. You're like, God, I don't have enough data to suggest that you're actually going to meet me where I am. She had every right to trust what's already happened, yet she was willing to do what no one else was doing to get results that no one else was giving her. Like everybody else in this crowd is just letting Jesus do his thing. And this woman is saying, nah, I'm not missing a moment in the presence of God. And this is where I want to be like, I don't want to miss a moment in the presence of God. I don't want caution tape to stop me from getting to this moment. I don't want caution tape to stop me from pursuing what he's called and created me to do. And this is what living undignified looks like. Like this is what it looks like to live undignified, that you are willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what people think, no matter what people say, no matter what their opinions are of you. You're willing to move and to go in the place that God has called you to. She actually chose to flip the script from what if I'm wrong to what if he's right. Like she flips the script from, oh man, what if I'm wrong? It's actually what if he's right? And what if I touch his garment? And what if I'm healed? And what if everything that I've known over the last 12 years changes in a moment because I chose to break the tape and trust a God who can actually provide answers and healing for my life? Like what if you tonight would make the decision, you know what, I'm going to trust. I don't know the outcome. I don't know what's on the other side of the caution tape, but I do know the God that I serve, and I do know that he has good plans for my life. Like what if you trusted that? So how do we flip the script? Like how do we go from asking the question, what if I'm wrong, to what if he's right? If you're taking notes, I want you to write this down. What if I'm wrong presents doubt in what God can do. And what if he's right presents faith in what's to come. Like what if I'm, like the question, what if I'm wrong, is not a bad question. It's just a question that presents doubt on what God can do. But when we will just flip the perspective to what if he's right? Like what if the thing that he says he has for me, he actually has for me? What if he's right? I want to give you 3 ways tonight that you can trust in moments when you doubt. And there's this beautiful story in Scripture, and it's a story about Peter. And they had just finished feeding the 5,000. Like they had just made this, Jesus had just performed this miraculous miracle. And he tells the disciples, he's like, hey, I want you guys to get in the boat and go to the other side. I'm going to go pray. And all of a sudden, the disciples are in the boat, and it says that hours pass, and there was this giant storm. Waves, wind, all the things that you could think of, and the disciples are shook. Like they are shook. And all of a sudden they see this image walking on the water. Now I don't know about y'all, but if I'm in Lake Eufaula and I see somebody walking on water, I've got a different thought than your Jesus. And also I'm not going to even acknowledge that you're there. Like I'm out. Like I'm not grabbing a life jacket, I'm just jumping over the side, and I don't swim that good, so it's going to take me a while to get away from you, but I'm not acknowledging what's going on here. But here's the beautiful thing. And the 3 ways to trust in moments where we doubt is we can become familiar with his voice. Matthew 14:27 says, but immediately he spoke to them, saying, take courage, it is I, do not be afraid. Jesus speaks to Peter in this moment. Jesus recognizes that Peter is scared. He recognizes that Peter doesn't know what to do. He recognizes he doesn't know his next step. And he tells him, hey, it's all good. Like you're in the boat because I asked you to. And here's the crazy thing. Peter never walks on the water if he's not familiar with the voice telling him to. And we never break our caution tape if we're not familiar with the voice asking us to do so. And it's so important in moments that we doubt, in moments where we can't see the future, in moments where we're unsure of our next outcome, where we're unsure of the things to come, where we trust and we are familiar with his voice. In 2017, I took a job at Colton's Steakhouse. I was the front of house manager. Yeah, come on, whoop, whoop, Colton's. I was the front of house manager there. And I remember at this time, like I wasn't married or anything, so like I wasn't super great with my money. I was trying to be good with my money. So I'm sitting at church, and I'm like, it's Sunday, and I got paid every other Friday. And so I'm sitting at church, and I've got $50 cash to last me till Friday. I don't know if y'all know this. Gas ain't cheap, food ain't free, and your boy likes to eat. Like, that's just all that there is to that. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, I really need something. Like, I need a decision. I need a moment. I need something to get me through. And I hear this voice talk to me during worship, and it's like, do you trust me? And I'm like looking around, like, who is talking in worship? Like, I'm about to get you. You know what I mean? And it wasn't a voice. It was actually an inner moment. It was an inner moment of my spirit being convicted and asking me the question of, do you trust me? I'm like, well, yeah, God, I trust you. Like, I recognized the conviction on the voice. And what I would say to you tonight, Brick Youth, is it's easier to break the caution tape when you're familiar with the voice telling you to. Like, it's so much easier to break this tape when you're familiar with the voice telling you to. The second way that you can trust in moments of doubt is you can take a step in faith. Matthew 14, 28, 29, that continues, Peter replied to him, Lord, if it really is you, command me to come to you on the water. He said, come. So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came towards Jesus. Jesus leads Peter out of the boat. Like, he leads Peter out of the boat. And Peter chooses in this moment, while he's acknowledging the storm, while he's acknowledging the waves, while he's acknowledging all the reasons that he should stay in the boat, he actually chooses to step out. He chooses that the caution tape isn't going to stop him. And I would tell you this, Brick Youth, you can't break something you're not willing to acknowledge is there. Like, Peter realizes that he's in the middle of a storm, but he also realizes the presence that is approaching him. And we can be in the middle of a moment, and because we're not willing to acknowledge the moment, because we'd rather walk around this caution tape, we misguide the plan that God has for us. We get off track. If we will just recognize that there is something that he is asking us to do, and that is to live an undignified life, we can move forward. Peter has to acknowledge the storms, but also acknowledge his Savior. And I remember as I'm sitting in this worship service, and God is asking me, like, my spirit's being convicted. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. But listen, God, again, I don't have any money. Gas ain't free. Food ain't cheap. And your boy likes to eat. You're going to have to do something. Like, you're going to have to come through. And the last thing that we can do is we can trust that God will show up. Matthew 40, 30 through 33, it says, but when he saw the effects of the wind, he was frightened and he began to sink. And he cried out, Lord, save me. Immediately Jesus extended his hand and caught him, saying to him, O you of little faith, why did you doubt? When they got into the boat, the wind ceased. Then those in the boat worshipped him with awe-inspired reverence, saying, truly, you are the Son of God. Jesus saved Peter from drowning, and he calmed the storm. He took a step. He took a step in the right direction. And I don't know if you've ever been in this moment, Brick Youth, where you have taken a step in the right direction. Like, maybe you've broken the caution tape, and then you took your eyes off of Jesus, and you realized in this moment that maybe things were a little wild. And I think this is what Peter does. And often we break the tape and get worried because what God said he would do actually happened. See, I don't believe Peter starts to drown because of the storm. I believe Peter starts to drown because he realized that what God said actually happened. And a lot of times in life, we tend to draw back, we tend to move back, we tend to not want to do the thing that God has called us to do, because when we realize that we break the caution tape and then he actually comes through, it's a little wild. But God will show up. And I remember trusting God with this $50. I was like, all right, God, I don't know what you're going to do, but I need you to do it. So I get to work the next day, and my general manager's like, hey, I want to talk to you in the office. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm getting fired. This is great. Like, God, I just gave you my $50, and now I'm fixing to get canned, and gas ain't free, food ain't cheap, and your boy loves to eat. And I walk into the office, and he's like, hey, man, we're really proud of the work you've been doing here. And he hands me a check. And it's a check for $500. And I say that to say that God will always show up. Yeah, he will always show up. So, Brick Youth, what is your caution tape? Like, if we were able to sit down and have a conversation, what is your caution tape? And it's moments like the story at Colton's, and it's moments like the story with the shot that give me confidence that I can break more tape. Give me confidence that I can continue moving forward. And about a year and a half ago, I was presented with a situation. I had been getting this urge, this desire, this calling that I needed to come to the Brick. I didn't know what God had for me. I didn't know the plan he had for me. And I had so many what ifs. I was like, God, like what if I'm wrong? Like, what if I misheard your voice? Or God, like, what if you don't show up? Or God, what if I can't build community like I would like to build community? Or God, what if no one sees that I'm called? Like, what if no one sees the calling that you put on my life? Like God, how will my family be? If I make this decision, how will they be? And I was reminded in this moment of Romans 8:28 says, and we know with great confidence that God, who is deeply concerned about us, causes all things to work together as a plan for good, for those who love God, to those who are called according to his plan and purpose. A year and a half ago, I had to make a decision. Like, I couldn't listen to the what if I'm wrong. I couldn't listen to the what ifs. It doesn't happen. Brick Youth, I had to break the caution tape. Like, I had to break this tape. And here's what I found on the other side of this. Because I made the decision to trust God, because I made the decision to follow his voice, my family is better than it's ever been. Like my wife, yeah, come on, like my wife is the Brick Kids pastor in Fort Gibson, and she is crushing it. My kids are healthier than they have ever been, and I am actively getting healthy. And Brick Youth, can I just be honest with you? If it stopped there, I'm good. Like, if it stopped there, if I never graced this stage, if I never was able to walk out the calling God had for me, I was good. But just like Preston talked about 2 weeks ago, when you will give something up, he will return it abundantly. And what I have found is friends like Taylor Otterbein, who over the last year and a half has seen me at my lowest points, and he has never not been there as a friend. He has never not been there to pull me up, to speak life into me, to tell me that God still had plans for me. It's people like Fallon, who when I got here to the Brick, I had no idea what it looked like, yet she gave me an opportunity to be on this stage. It's people like Preston, who saw something in me, even when I couldn't see it in myself, even when I thought the calling that God had on my life was dead. He saw it, and he gave me a platform to speak. And if I'd encourage you with anything, it's break the caution tape. Because what I've found over the last year and a half is I would never, ever, ever go back and put the caution tape back up. Because God has given me more than I ever gave up. Let's pray.